take us out of the dark. And men made the boat for the water, like Noah made the ark.
I open my notebook and find a poem searching for my country's fault. Within the searching, a slam. Within the slam, master classes on nuances of a country's crying and the dialect amidst the tears. A voice turns. Your calm lacks the lexicon of a performance. It is void of a revolution, and a revolution without a storm of gestures is poor grammar, akin to a freedom charter gathering dust in exile. Note. Rage is a taught rubric of your country. Your country is a library made of anthologies of mouths that are not sorry. And I borrow triggers from a struggle song to rage like the armed wing. I scream as though canines are bullets biting into my skin. The stage turns into an undressed wound leading towards the insight of a protest. Amandla. My stanzas are plagiarized screams. Amandla. How heavy is death on a name worn in a protest? I wonder. I push out a struggle song that my people knew as a co-written suicide note. Within the suicide note there is death. Within death a cliche for loss is written by the same last breath or the white hand Steve Biko borrowed with his suicide. I turn his breath into background music. My mouth opens as wide as an anthology half written or half read. I open the anthology and find a hand slowly turning into an incomplete fist, patient in pulling the trigger. This pose is a movement or an arrest before 1994. Freeze. You raise your hand like my performance is the gun. Freeze. And this poem is the trigger. Freeze. You hold the back of your head like your father did, his knees falling to cover potholes like your votes failing to cover potholes. His name is a concept waiting to remind you of how he died, and this poem is nothing but a concept and a chant of a poet who does not even know how tiring a tire is around the neck. I open my notebook and find my grandmother choking on dust instead of tear gas. Her body leans into what's left of her lifespan as 1994 stares at her like it is a tired pickup line. I open the pickup line and find a queue to the voting station because she voted and I slammed. a saying in Sepedi goes, "Bajeru ke diphiri." Translation, they were taken by hyenas or they disappeared into a hyena's mouth. The line can also be read, "Bajeru ke diphiri." Translation, they were taken by sequins or they disappeared into a sequin's mouth. And I've learned that I'm from a bloodline of a soldier. My great-grandfather marched into the mouth of death and died in the cave of its teeth. His corpse, a secret to our eyes, a rumor that we believed. A line goes, "Ke diphiri ka fase ga letlalo." Translation, they are the hyenas under the skin, or ke diphiri ka fase ga letlalo. Translation, they are the secrets under the skin. Lehu ke phiri ke senwamadi. Translation, death is a secret quenching thirst with blood, or lehu ke sephiri ke senwamadi. Translation, death is a secret quenching thirst with blood. And we know how to live inside a hyena's mouth, or we know how to live inside a sequin's mouth. The sequins are in the body, the sequins are in the blood, the hyenas are in the country, death with blood dripping from the corners of its lips. Its canines are longer than a war. I wonder if the war knew that a country is a body made of buildings and people, that skin is the piece that punctured. Translation, they are seen in the wars they do not fight in all. Translation, they drink in the wars they do not fight in. They mourn a swallowing by being drunk, by dying themselves. In the mouth of an argument, lost is a language. The secret of a country's crying is in the poet's eyes. A stanza goes, "There are villages that are healing wounds and graveyards that are clots. Skyscrapers are wounds peeling off. A city buried underneath the rubble of its country." Behind a village called Mokhlek, at the fingertips of a land called Mukulani, is a bush sinking in sand. At the shore there is a graveyard floating, a body's echo, and what we named it Maleti Saramat, husband to Nakedi Batao, a soldier whose names and body were parted by a grenade, separated like organs, sent out to each find a grave. A land away from home is swallowed in violent waves, caves, swallowing what the families will not find. For death Without proof of body is a second mourning in waiting, a rumor. It remained in the mouths of the fellow soldiers in an hour suffocating. We gathered the spears he left and followed the rivers heading towards the empty corners of conflict. We found a tree from which to pull a branch and pulled it as a chariot for his name, and then brewing praises and hymns for him to follow. Rarimaletiza mokwena mobila letlhaka moroka metsi a pula motlheane mothilibitla mmina tsheka la boroka nyakane a bina le tshwete ke ba seka sethe sa mphaka mogolo seka sethe se ka wetsa le bagoro ya mankhumishe makwapa a ya le miririthetseng ke mogogorosha motswalo mmira intšha ka phoka ya moeketse ya ikile ya tsoga ntwa bokwena ya bana ba mpa ba ka sebešo maletisa re marupo ge o le nkwa ke lepoo ge o le tau ke shawane re dibatapedi mmamaila le rile go tupa le role marupo botšintlo ka seledu maletao bodi ba bekwa ke ditlogolo. And we said to him, we have come with the empty bowls of grief for your whereabouts. We are high Mukwena. Nakedi is waiting. But when we returned home, Nakedi had nobody to identify but its epithet to hear. Ka gore mashole a mangwe a tlhobogo ka ditsebe. Re botša gore ba ile ra tshepa. She did not need a body to believe that a soldier died, only a statement and a name. We bury names when bodies are not found. And war is euphemism for a body's absence, a debt to the floating grave swallowed, paid by Nagedi's old age when she lay beside her husband's name. Because behind Mukhlek, at the fingertips of a land called Mukulane, are names sinking in sand. Maleti Saramat, Nakedi Bata. Maleti Saramat, Nakedi Bata. Maleti Saramat, Nakedi Bata. Maleti Saramat, Nakedi Bata. Maleti Saramati, Nakedi Bata. Say something. Okay, so nearly heavy. Now we're just going in a bit lighter. Yes. Maybe I go for put your name. So Taviso and I are actually part of a play Engwe, and then Lina La play on for those who don't know. Touche is like somewhere there. So we actually, the name of the play, Prayers, yes. So Lina Launa is Prayers. It's a one-hander, and then, yeah.
Touche knows the song, right?
Yes, I think he does. Is Touche still here? I want you to remind Taviso some songs. It was one of the darkest evenings ever. I was with her by the river. Our feet barely at the bank, our memories shy and in a village of trees. We leaned towards the silence to watch a wild goat drink from the same river the moon fell into. But tonight the sky is nothing but the size of a river. Without falling, a frog leaped from star to star. That frog was me before I fell for her. My eyes tripped to mute the questions loud in a stare. She asked me, "Soli, why are we here?" And I laughed out loud like bad grammar. My whole body became a mouth and I spoke to her. I told her, "I don't want to stop being by your side. I've changed my mind about leaving. I know the moon will remain even if I drink all of this river. I knew a boy will remain in your arms even if I give it my all. I knew when our river was a moon floating like a mistake." "You've been going to church more often," she said, blinking between the language our eyes spoke. Her eyes slightly closed as if she wanted to pinch my reflection with her eyelids, and I wanted to tell her why I go to church more. I wanted to tell her it is not faith but a heartbreak, but I could not. Instead, I opened my mouth trying to unsing a heartbreak with a kiss, but she stopped me, covered her mouth with a grandmother scarf, and she frowned in fabric, and I knew I couldn't kiss between a grandmother's fingers of wool. The frog stopped leaping, and it was over. See, there comes a time in one's life when an erection is like a minaret. A minaret. For those who do not know, a minaret is a slender tower, typically part of a mosque. A mosque is where Muslims pray. Now coming back, there comes a time in one's life when an erection is like a minaret, and inside it an intention to come and speak in tongues. I'm not going to wait to the end to say that this is a metaphor for sex. There comes a time when sex is a prayer that knows how to be heard. Maybe only by the neighbors sometimes, but it is heard. Always. And isn't this why we consider ourselves as gods? Because we hear others' prayers when they peer. And when there's no one to hear, we hear ourselves. Think about it. We are gods who pray. To who I do not know, I'm not sure, I'm also not sure if I do not know, but I know that beyond prayer, a God must have the privilege to hear what's said in secret. Like a voyeur eavesdropping on a mourn and watching through the glory hole. But what is all of this beyond the coming and going, beyond the deed? I think prayers are what God or gods listen to before he or they wish to forget about themselves. A sword reminding us how to bleed in the evening, quiet or loud. Because in every evening there is an Eve who never leaves with my secrets. Because everything remains when the sheets and when they leave. So a night of guilt instead preys on my faith. I pray to God before praying to myself. These flows knows not all of these papers hold poems. The wall stepped me with a shrug and I hide my stomach with all these like all of these papers swallowing poems and come. But all of this I try to forget. Amnesia and whatever. For what I do not remember. I've prayed so much that I forgot. I've been praying so much that I forgot that the amnesia in me swallowed everything whole. It is not hoeing when you are alone in your room hurting in your memory. And I can see your eyes burn me with scriptures about hell. Yes, I know my way around a body than I know my way around my own solitude. He looks innocent, I hear your sharp whisper. But we forget that we all know the edge of something and we wait there to find ourselves in denial, like an artist asking if the poems will stay when the pain leaves, like an addict asking if the libido will remain when the lover stays. My name is Soetry Ramadzi. Thank you very much.